Hi there, I'm Alicia Malone, and welcome back to our Sunday Fun Day here on TCM. We've been celebrating all day with great comedies, and we continue next with something special. It's a film full of felines. Well, that's not the only reason it's special. It's also the kind of movie we don't often show, an animated film. And even better, it's a musical featuring the voices of Judy Garland, Robert Goulet, Red Buttons, and Hermione Gingold. From Warner Brothers in 1962, it's called Gay Pur-ee. It was co-written by the great Chuck Jones along with his wife Dorothy Jones. Chuck, you may know, is the animator responsible for many of our favorite classic cartoon characters, including Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, the Roadrunner, Tweety Pie, the list goes on. The characters in our film are, as I mentioned, cats, with the story involving a country cat, played by Garland, who travels to the city of Paris for some adventures. But they end up becoming more like misadventures, so she needs some help from potential love interest Goulet and Buttons, who's a kitten companion. The songs are by Harold Arlen and E.Y. Harburg, who, some of you know, were the composing duo who previously worked with Garland when she was a teenager during the 1939 classic The Wizard of Oz. They wrote all the songs for that movie, including one of her best, of course, Over the Rainbow. Harold Arlen went on to work with Garland again, writing the music score for her 1954 drama A Star is Born. Now, the animation in our story is amazing for its time, taking full advantage of the Parisian setting and incorporating a number of artists throughout. You'll see the interpreted style of painters, including Toulouse-Lautrec, Claude Monet, Paul Cézanne, and Vincent van Gogh. Let's get into it, directed by Abe Levitow, who had once worked under Chuck Jones at Warner Brothers, from 1962, Gay Pur-ee. Did you recognize the voice of the bulldog and the bartender in Gay Pur-ee? That was Mel Blanc, who voiced literally hundreds of characters during the course of his career. He also did many of Chuck Jones's most famous cartoon characters like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and Porky Pig. Another famous voice of his, Barney Rubble from the Flintstones. Our movie, Gay Pur-ee, was released by Warner Brothers, but it was actually produced by a company called United Productions of America. Animator Chuck Jones was essentially freelancing there after many years at the Warner Brothers animation department. Sadly, that department at Warner's briefly shut down in 1963, just a year after this film was released. At the time, some audiences were staying home to watch television instead of going out to the movies, and the Walt Disney Company was starting to somewhat corner the market in feature film animation, making it hard to compete. Speaking of Disney, just a few years later, that studio would release its own cat-centered story, the 1970 animated musical The Aristocats. And we're going to stay in Paris for our next film here on TCM with a comedy starring Greta Garbo. Need I say more?
Next on TCM, Ninotchka. Then, Which Way Is Up? And later, Crush Groove. Face the music with TCM Tonight.